So, based on her immunization records, we can note that the parents aren't really giving her the correct immunizations at the correct times. So this is something that we might need to give them a little bit more education about, because it's not that they're anti-vaxxers, it's just that maybe they're not as educated about why a child needs vaccines. Second, my recommendations would be to give her the vaccines. Continue to catch up on these vaccines, because it's important for these children to get the correct vaccines at the correct times, because it can help build their immunity against diseases, but they do need to be in the correct time frame in order to be more effective for that child at that time, because that's when they can become infected with them. You're not going to give a child a HPV shot at 2 months old, because they're not going to be at risk for that. So what they're at risk for is pertussis and pneumonia and hepatitis B and all that stuff, because that's stuff that they can be infected with each day at that age. Question 4 is, Isabella's mother wants to know what's wrong with spacing out the vaccines. What would your response to this question be? So the vaccines are spaced out in the correct time that they need to be. The CDC specifically has put a vaccination schedule on their website, and this is their recommendation, that they want these vaccines at this certain time so that they are most effective. You're not going to give one vaccine at 2 months old and then wait until the child's 3 years old, because then you're going to have to restart the schedule. It's just like with your Tdap, you need to get boosters every certain, couple of years, because you need to continue to build that immunity, and it's recommended by the CDC, and that's just what is supposed to happen. Question 5, Isabella's mother is concerned that her young immune system is too fragile to receive so many vaccines so close together. She asks, won't the number and frequency of the immunizations overwhelm her immune system? What would your response be? So, yes, her immune system is fragile at this time, but it is building and growing every single day. These vaccines are actually helping to grow that immune system. So there's 2 different kinds of immune system, a nonspecific and a specific. So a nonspecific is innate. So that's stuff that you have to fight against pathogens, like your skin. You're born with that, and that's a barrier to help protect you. But acquired or specific immunity is immunity that you receive from having contact with certain things. So once you get one type of a cold, you're going to be immune to that because you've already had that, because your body now recognizes that pathogen and won't let it make you get sick again, because you've now acquired immunity to that pathogen. So just like that, these vaccines are giving your body time to grow that immunity to that virus, to that disease process, to that pathogen. So if you don't give it in the correct time frame, then you won't grow that immunity, and it will not matter, and the vaccine won't have been effective. So you want to give those correct ones at the correct time. So that's why at 2 months you get such a long list. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 vaccines at 2 months. And that's because that's when you need to begin those vaccines in that time. And it won't overwhelm it, because you're not making your child sick. I'm not injecting her with so many pathogens and so many bad things that it's going to just like overwhelm everything. Last question. According to her immunization record, she did not follow the following vaccines recommended by the CDC. After your conversation with Isabella's mother, she also has agreed to receive some, but not all of the recommended vaccines. Which of the 3 vaccines would you order for Isabella today? So being that she's 6 months, we want to start her on the vaccines that she's missed. at her 2 month or 1 month period, because that's really important. So pretty much her immunization record puts her at 2 doses of the DTaP, 2 doses of the rotavirus, 2 doses of the HIV vaccine, and 2 doses of the PCV7 dose. So by the CDC, it is required that you get 2 doses of the rotavirus, 3 doses of the DTaP, 2 doses of the HIV, and 3 doses of the PCV7. So probably what I would recommend is giving her the hepatitis B. So she hasn't had any of the hepatitis B vaccines, so that's one that I would recommend. I'd recommend finishing off her DTaP because she just needs that one last dose. That could happen during the 6-month period. The PCV7 also I would recommend at this time, just because she'll be finishing off that dose after she would get this dose. So there would only be one more dose, and then she would be finished with that one. And I think that that's pretty important to give her those 3. So Hep B, the DTaP, the ending one, and the PCV13 to finish it off.